Now, since I'm short on time, I'd like just to take a moment and talk about JR the dad. Growing up and being a parent, as we all know, is no easy task. All the ups and downs of growing up, whether it's tears of sadness and failure, or tears of happiness, love, joy, and success, Dad, you were always there. Where being a father involves more than just a hug and a kiss, you always guided us in the right direction. I'm not going to be able to look at you, Dad, because I'm going to start crying. None of these wonderful events would have been possible without you. You are just not the best dad that this old kid could ever have, but also the most loving husband to your wife, Patsy, the best father and grandfather to my sister, Lindsay, and her daughter, Josie, the best father-in-law to my wife, Callie, and grandfather to our 3 beautiful kids, Hayden, Jackson, and Jake. And let me tell you, they love you. When I was a young boy, my father would spend many hours coaching several of my teams, instilling in us to always have fun playing, but most of all, always giving the sport the respect that it deserves. During the calendar year growing up, there was always some type of ball in hand. In the fall, it was a football where we played catch for hours and hours at a time, and somehow carrying that over to the living room of our home to my mom's dismay. In the winter, we'd play basketball in the driveway till dark. Spring and the summer, there was always the sound of a baseball being caught, and or the tens of thousands of hours playing golf were some of my favorite memories growing up that I now get to enjoy today with my kids. Outside of coaching, he would take me to all the OU football games, which we still enjoy. But some of my very favorite memories growing up is when he would take me to OCU, to the old Frederickson Fieldhouse to watch the Chiefs play basketball, or hitting a baseball game and watching Coach Craybaugh and Coach Lytle work their magic. And for you soccer fans, we also enjoyed watching Coach Harvey raising hell on the sidelines given to the referees. True story. I still remember like it was yesterday, seeing and hearing this short little English accent-speaking guy sound like a 10,000-pound gorilla. My point in sharing a few of these memories with you is to let you know that my dad loves all sports, men and women. With the exception of God and his family, though, he loves nothing more than this university. For the people that are sitting in the audience that know my father know, if you're ever in need of anything, my dad's always there. If you're ever needing someone to talk to, and trust me, my dad loves to talk. He's only a phone call away. Dad, you are the greatest human being alive. In closing, because I promised Jim that I'd be quick because I could speak up here for hours talking about my dad, I first want to submit my personal congratulations to you, Al, and your family on your honor tonight. It is so well deserved. I can tell you, recalling back in 3rd, 4th grade after football practice, I'd run to Dad's car and turn to KTOK 1000 AM and listen to the radio and just hear what you had to talk about for the day. And what's so surreal and cool about all this is that my wife and kids listen to you and Trevor religiously after 40 years. It's insane. So, that's right. You are an icon, you are a legend, and as Trevor likes to say, you are the king of the midgets. And although that may or may not be true, you are a giant in this community. But again, in closing, I would like to say something to all the players and coaches that are here tonight. It's been a joy to watch you play, to watch you succeed, and achieve all of your goals. It has been a privilege to play a small part in this event to help you with your athletic careers. We share a bond that will never be broken, but I can tell you unequivocally that tonight my dad's award is your award, and for that I am forever grateful. I am honored to share with this crowd that OCU will be inducting JR Homsey into the Athletic Hall of Fame. So, without further ado, please help me
this, well, actually, I'm not 6'4", and so this fits me just right. We did this to Jim Abbott a few years ago, and we made him cry, and you did that to me today. I will be recognizing a lot of people in a little bit, but obviously I do not have a prepared speech, and for the first time in a long time, I'm a little bit lost for words. But the law school, Dean Roth, taught me how to mouth off a lot. So I have had a love affair with OCU a long time. It started long ago when I was a boy reading the newspapers and reading about the Chiefs. I applied for law school, and OCU was the first school that accepted me. And I noticed that my parents were very happy, and later, here came OU. I go down to our store at 10th and Penn, and I said, Dad, I've got a great choice here. I can go to OCU or OU. And he said, I want you to go to OCU. And I said, why? And he said, well, we're at 10th and Penn. The school's about 23rd and Penn. We live right off of Pennsylvania and Nichols Hills. And I said, really, that's why you, he said, no. He said, I'm dying with a cancer that they have no way to treat. And he said, they tell me that in a few years they'll have it, but it'll be too late. And I want to see you as much as possible. We could have lunch, your mother could make dinner, and you could have your friends come over and she'd cook for them. And I said, okay, because I could not say no to that. Wow. Then, I've never forgot how OCU treated me. Because I met a Dean Emeritus. He was Dean Emeritus at 4 schools. His name was John Hervey. And he asked a crazy question on a contracts test. He said, it won't cost you anything if you don't know it, but if you know it, I'm going to help you out on your test. I'm going to give you extra points. And he was talking about Christmas, and most people thought this had something to do with Christmas, and I thought, no, this guy's too sharp. He's not going to ask about Santa Claus. And I took a guess. The question was the significance of 49 BC. 2 people got it right. We sat about 20 feet apart, and I made a guess. And I'm telling you, I'll swear to God, I did not know this for sure. It was a guess. And so he asked everybody after class. He stood on a perch, and he looked around, and he said, how did you answer that, Mr. Jones? How did you answer that, Mr. Johnson? And they usually said it had something to do with Christmas. You know, 49 years before Christ was born, stuff like that. And he said, Mr. Homsey, how do you answer that? And I said, well, I don't know. I didn't think it was Christmas. He said, what was it? I said, I guess that was the year that Julius Caesar took Rome. And this man buttons up his alligator briefcase. Now, he's about 2 feet higher than everybody. Jay McCown and Gary Quick will tell you, he was very distinguished. And he took out a cigar. You could do that. Then he put it in his mouth. And he buttoned up his alligator briefcase. And he took one step down and turned around and said, April 26, 49 BC, Julius Caesar splashed the Rubicon en route to taking Rome. And everybody thought, oh my God, because he walked out. The next day I was working for 2 guys that became district judges, Lehman Freeman and Richard Freeman. Lehman was a graduate of OCU. And I get a phone call and said, you need to go to law school. Well, in those days we wore suits, so I went down there and I thought, oh boy, this could be bad. He probably thinks I cheated. So I walked in and he said, listen, I like the way you wrote your file because I quoted in this essay type test, I quoted Robert Frost, and he liked the Julius Caesar thing, and he said, we'll be friends forever. He said, just don't let everybody know it, because everybody's afraid of it. Later, wow, this is tough. On August the 4th, just before my last year in law school, my dad died. A piece of me died. He was my best friend, confidant. I guess kind of like Jason and I, Lindsay and I. It was devastating. I spent 1 year in depression. I'd never been depressed in my whole life. And I played it off pretty good among family and friends, but every night was a nightmare. And I couldn't get it off my mind. And I get a phone call from Dean Hervey. He said, we have one of the greatest adjuncts we've ever had, and he's going to help you with that bar exam because your head's not right. And I didn't know that he knew that, but apparently he and professors knew it. So I called this man, and it was Marion Apollo. He became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, but at that time he was the court administrator. And he screamed at me that first morning for about 5 minutes, explaining that my dad would be ashamed that I spent this time in law school and I'm going to give it up. Well, I got through the bar exam, and Marion and I, until he died, once a month we had breakfast or we had lunch together, and every holiday he would come to my home with Roberta, and we would enjoy a holiday. I knew it, remember, he had Glenlivet's neat. And so, I'm just telling you that both men were with OCU. OCU owes me nothing. They don't owe me a thing. I owe them, and I will until I die. And I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, everyone at OCU is a member of a family. You could be an undergraduate freshman, or you could be a nursing student, you could be in the doctorate program, you could be in the law school, you could be in business school. Everyone's part of a family. And so, some years later, I'm in Frederickson Fieldhouse watching basketball. I went to all the games, and I sat with a guy named Jerry Walker, who's president, and Jerry says, I need your help. And I said, what do you want me to do? He said, I want you to help with the trustees. And I thought, now wait a minute. The only trustees anywhere close to my age were Ron York and Bill Shadid. The rest of them were octogenarians and really movers and shakers, and I thought, you know, I don't belong in that crowd. I said, what do you want me to do, help the law school? He said, well, you can, but that's not where I need you. He said, I want you to help with the athletic department. Sometimes we don't program in our trips. Our girls won the national championship in basketball, our boys won. He said we didn't have enough money to buy them national champion rings. Well, I went crazy. I said, well, that's going to change right now. So I get on the phone, and I'm sure I called some of the people in this room and said, I need a couple $100. And we got them their rings. And from then on, he said, just do whatever you can do to help the university. So we were in my dining room, and I said, I want to do this, I want to give it a shot. And the worst case scenario is we won't make much money. Well, it was 30 years ago. Wow, I had more hair and it was a different color. That first year was good, the second year was good, and then it really took off. And when it took off, it really took off. And so we've been able to raise a lot of money for the university. And I would just tell you this. Wow. God bless OCU. God bless our student athletes. our coaches, our administration, our deans. God bless America. We live in the best place there is. And thank you